All right, we're here at the topping off of the Harf building. This is a dream come true. Now, Gene Garrett, when I first knew you, you were working with boron and mycorrhiza, yeah. And you gave a lecture in Dale Blevin's class in 1984 that just inspired me to want to go work on all this stuff. And I did. Because my very first study after graduate school was with you. But you had this other project in your mind, didn't you? You were a mineral nutritionist like Dale, but you also were agroforestry.
Yeah.
A dream. Just developed over time, and this place at Harf helped that to come about, didn't it?
Yeah. You know, the truth of the matter, Tim, is that when I first arrived here at the university, I knew I wanted to do research on agroforestry. But I also knew that tenure depends upon publications.
Right.
And consequently, I knew that agroforestry was a long-term investment, and that was not going to get me tenure. So I decided to actually look at mycorrhiza and oak regeneration, first and foremost, which was a need here in the state. And by chance, we ended up with a patent on a foliar fertilizer which enhances mycorrhiza on oak.
Oh, wow.
So the idea was to get publications out, and I could do that very quickly with mycorrhiza and foliar fertilization and what have you. Agroforestry, though, was my love. And I just thought it was something that could really work here in the state of Missouri because of the number of small farms that we had here and the problems that the small farm was having at that time. So consequently, it worked out beautifully. The boron presentation, you know, I was very enthusiastic about that project.
I did it.
Matter of fact, you and I came out with a publication on soybeans.
We did.
I'd forgotten about that.
When listening to Garrett give lectures, you're never really sure whether you were listening to a retired Army general or somebody who missed their calling and should have been a pastor behind a pulpit someplace.
That's right.
Because he was always inspirational, but sometimes he was both very commanding, inspirational, and you're thinking, where am I? At church? Or should I say, sir, yes, sir, when I answered?
But the timing was perfect, wasn't it?
It was. It really
Heart
was.
was looking for something.
Well, that's the other interesting thing about this. When I arrived, the director of the School of Natural Resources was Dr. Don Duncan. About 2 weeks after I arrived here, I get a call from Don. He says, Gene, come down. I want to visit with you. I go down. He says, now mind you, I was very, very aware of the problems of publications for tenure. And I came in as an associate professor, so that even that was going to create a problem for me because my span is much shorter. So anyway, Don calls me in and he says, Gene, this is going to be an unusual request. I do not want you to focus specifically on any research yet.
Really?
And then I told him, about the fact that I was going to use mycorrhiza to get publications. He said, I've got no problem with that. He said, but long term, don't start thinking long term. I want you to tour the state. I want you to visit with the landowners. I want you to visit with industry in the state before you make up your mind what kind of long-term research you're going to do.
Oh my goodness.
And he says, I want it to be applied. He said, we've got too much basic going on now. I want applied research. Well, this was the director telling me this. And I'm thinking, Don, are you going to be there in my corner
That's right.
when tenure time comes and I don't have the publications I need? No, I didn't think that, really. But anyway, the bottom line was Don really helped me because all of a sudden I was moving in the state. I ran into the folks down at Hammond's Products at Stockton. They obviously, their industry was black walnut nuts, and they wanted more black walnut planted. And we got into a conversation down there one day, and we came up with the idea of alley cropping. Going in to soybeans or what have you, planting walnut at 40-foot intervals, the spacing on the rows, and then cropping down between them. I mean, that's where that started.
Just a conversation.
Conversation with Hammond's Products and Don Duncan.
Because they are the innovators often, aren't they? The ones that are in it, and they're looking, because they had to look at the economic bottom line. And they knew they had to have something.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the small farmer. Missouri is what, #1 in number of farms? Well,
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know whether it still is or
farms,
not.
and so many are so small. But now, Ben, you can attest to this. That's the movement today, isn't it?
We're seeing a lot of that and a lot of interest from small farmers and from farmers who want to diversify product and have specialty crops and work in a more complex system of different species interactions, and find ways to make it profitable, make it productive, but also get environmental benefit. You know, kind of the whole spectrum of things that come into play with agroforestry that really make it complex and make it interesting, make it applied. You know, there's a lot of sides to it, and we're seeing that interest. So people are asking questions and wanting help. And
I think that's one of the real strengths of agroforestry. I don't know that I ever thought about this when working for the Center for Agroforestry, but agroforestry is very adaptable in nature. It's also very scalable if you look at it that way. Now, it's often more attractive to go towards larger and think larger is better, but not necessarily. And in today's world where you're looking at knowing where your food comes from, knowing how your food is grown, the scalability and adaptable nature to agroforestry, even from things like forest gardening and other factors like that, you know, agroforestry just has a lot of potential when you step back and look at how it can be merged with any size or need environmentally.
Whether you're here in the beautiful hills of the Missouri River, deep lush soils, or in the Ozarks, there's a system that will work, that the agroforestry works in, are the species. And one thing I think I heard you all really saying is that agroforestry makes us environmentally sustainable and economically sustainable. They have to work together.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what's really important. Now, how is this building? This was a dream. This was a dream. 25 years plus in the making.
35.
35 years in the making. This was a dream, and you know, persistence pays off, doesn't it, Gene?
It wasn't an over-the-night success story, I can tell you that for sure. But be that as it may, the idea and the need has always been here.
Yeah.
You know, when we found the money to redo the Hickman House, my position back then, I remember actually making a statement at the dedication of the Hickman House that the Hickman House has now been saved. Now I want to use the Hickman House to enhance agroforestry adoption. And the way you do that is you get people really interested in coming in and looking at the Hickman House. Well, right next door, you now have the opportunity, you know, to sit down an audience and actually make some formal presentations on what they can expect from agroforestry. And you know, way back in the 1990s and early 2000s, we were working virtually 100% on black walnut. And the reason for that was I felt that if I couldn't demonstrate that the economics of agroforestry were good enough, no farmer is going to adopt. And if I can't demonstrate it with black walnut, I sure can't demonstrate it with oak.
Right.
I mean, black walnut is the single most valuable timber species and nut crop that we've got here in the state of Missouri. So the bottom line, again, there's a lot of luck involved, with success. Anybody that tells you anything different is just wrong.
Right.
And the way things came together here in the state of Missouri, there's just a lot of luck and God's guidance that got us to where we are right now.
Yeah.
But the need was understood from the beginning, Tim.
Yes.
We all knew we needed a learning center, and now we're going to have it.
And I think that the impact going forward, it's been years, decades getting this building in place. The impact will last decades going forward. And new people that come in won't even know the history, but they'll see the value and the impact. So it all pays off. I think another thing, thinking about what you were saying, convincing farmers economic benefit or implementation of practices, people want to see it. And so having this facility where people can come out and see it, hands-on, see that walnut tree, have a presentation here to talk about the science behind it, do that all together in one place, much more convincing than trying to talk to somebody in a university, like campus setting or through a lecture or something like that. The Show Me State, we can come out here, we can show people. Do it out here on the ground.
And it's not just hands-on,
that's impact.
It's opportunity to taste it too, right? I mean, so much of what agroforestry does beyond environmental benefit is also a product. And so you got like the chestnut roast, very much a time of the year, but it offers folks a chance to try some of these different products that otherwise they might not in a very much a festival type setting. So.
But you can have people have fun and learn something at the same time when you do that, and that's what's important. And this building will be a huge part of that.
Well, I'll just tell folks this too. It's not luck, Dr. Garrett. It's having a great understanding of the fundamentals, environmental, tree growth, relationship to fertility, and then taking all of that knowledge and being able to merge that with issues of the world around us. And so you were in the right place at the right time, but you also had the knowledge base and the wisdom to apply that in a way that perhaps others would not have looked at. In response to flooding, in response to soil type and the need for diversification of farm revenue opportunities, like in alley cropping and other things. One of the great things about the Center for Agroforestry, I think, is, and it started under your leadership, it's knowledge transitioning to meet the need of the day. And you did that well.
Well, this is great conversation, but you know what? They got food over there. It's Friday afternoon, so let's
go eat.